I'm Richard Cave. I'm a speech and language therapist, and I work with the Motor Neuron Disease Association here in the UK. And we look after people, we support people living with motor neuron disease in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. I should add, motor neuron disease has got many names. So it's frequently abbreviated to MND, so I'll probably end up saying that. But MND is also known as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is ALS. And it's terrible. It is a progressive and ultimately fatal disease. There is no cure. It causes progressive muscular weakness, resulting in loss of function of the limbs, the trunk, the neck, in fact, pretty much everywhere. And the life expectancy is commonly 2 to 3 years. More than 80% of people living with motor neuron disease will become unable to communicate their daily needs using talking. And in time, almost all of them will be unable to speak at all. People living with motor neuron disease often consider the loss of speech as one of the worst aspects. I mean, there are lots of bad aspects, and be able to communicate how they feel, making decisions, just talking about personal care, help with social interaction. It can affect everything, and of course it can and does affect employment. One thing that MND is unlikely to affect most of the time is cognitive skills. So inside, people are still the same person, and they have all the same thinking skills, all the same skills, all of everything. And so this is particularly tricky, when speech is lost. There's a massive hit to individual and social identity, including social withdrawal. I work with people with MND every single day, and this is the lived experience that I work with. And we have to find ways to help people to live their lives and just be themselves for as long as they can, and to support the families around them, and just to kind of help them to be themselves for as long as they can. One of the big challenges we have is accessing communication devices for people who have lost the power of speech or losing it. We have to act at the speed of MND and faster. And so one thing we've been doing more and more at the MND Association have been providing equipment, communication equipment, literally to give these people a voice. It's literally that. So to help people to communicate their needs their way without having other people to speak on their behalf. And so this is where we come to Ivanti Neurons MDM, because we've looked at all sorts. What we're trying to do is provide stuff quickly and efficiently that works for them, that works for us, that works for everyone. We're not technical, but I understood what MDM is. And it just so happens that one of the teams was using MDM in a very different way at the MND Association. And we tried it, spent a while working it out to see how we could push apps and provide equipment kind of from a remote location in a way that was least stress to the people with MND and their families. And the Ivanti Neurons MDM helps us do exactly that. But what it meant was that we were able to push apps for communication to either a person's own iPad or their iPhone or whatever, or we could provide an iPad of ours that we could loan to them with all the communication stuff installed, and we can manage it. So there are lots of people living with MND, who are not technically savvy. What we want them to is to be able to communicate. That's what we want. And so what we use Ivanti MDM stuff is to take all the stress out of it, but be very, very flexible. So what that means is that we now have the power to actually help many, many hundreds of people. I think we're looking at about 450 people currently through the MDM system, to give them a communication device without needing to visit them, and give them support over the phone if they need it, and for them to get on and start talking through their device. And so, this is when I say it's literally giving the power of voice, it's just allowing people to have a bit of their life back. What I'd love to do is let the engineers know this, that their work is far more than technical. It's about important stuff, like telling their children they love them, stuff like that. And this is all from experience. I'm not just making this up. The other thing that we do with the MDM system is we support people to do what they call voice banking. And this is before they lose their natural voice, we support them to create a synthetic approximation of their natural voice that can be used in a communication device for later. So if and when they lose their natural voice, then their communication device sounds like them. From an MND Association perspective, we have to be super careful with the money that we use. All the money we have is raised, is donated to us. We are a non-profit, and anything that we spend internally at the MND Association that's not on research to help find a cure is really closely scrutinised. In fact, everything is. And so we have to be very careful with how we spend. And so the MDM helps us to be very efficient with what we do. The true nature of MND means that people will be able to use a communication device only for a limited time, and then I have to move on to something that fits their needs. In the past, prior to using the MDM system, we would give people grants, or we would give people devices. But in truth, it was only ever going to benefit them for a certain period of time, and then it would be of no benefit to them. Using the MDM, we can recycle. What recycling means is that we can enable more people to benefit from this technology that need it, and we respond in a quicker way. And so we are the proud owner of around, more than 300 iPads, and we also support, I think, 432 devices in total, and we have many hundreds of software apps. And that means that we can recycle them all. And many of these apps have been used, 10, 12, 14 times. So rather than give a grant, we do it in this way. And because it's MDM, because it's Ivanti Neurons MDM, we can do it in a data protected way. What it can do for non-profits is very powerful. Not only does it optimize funds, it also optimizes service. It helps people that we all support to give the best of what we can through technology. I mean, I cannot tell you the joy I had when I sent my first app out to someone's iPad that's at the other end of the country. It's just like, finally, we're here. And now I don't even think about it. It's just a thing. And, it's just part of our service. It's what we do, and it's what we're known for. And actually, Ivanti MDM is here, and it's been here for a while, and it's really great. We at the MND Association, we really care, and we have to do what's right for our community, and we are prepared to use technology that works for what's right for our community. Well, I just want to thank the engineers, because a lot of people do stuff, and they do code, and they build stuff, and there are goals and stuff like that, but it's very rare that we find technology such as this is making such a big change and helping people in such an important way. And I just want to thank the engineers for just putting it all together, because the outcomes, they may be surprised at, when somebody says, I love you, in a voice that sounds more like them on a device because they've lost their natural voice. That has happened in part because of what they did. And so all these conversations, all these things that they will never hear, but it's happening anyway. And so I'm really, really grateful. It's working, and it's working today, and it'll work tomorrow. And it's embedded in our offering. It's embedded in our offering because it helps us do the best we can for people with MND. I think the surprise is people, could see that we have updated their iPad and their phone, and we didn't need to visit. And when, people with MND or others say, actually, I'm not sure about this software, can I try another one? And the answer is, yes, you can. Let me press the button. And then, oh, it's there. I just like, oh, how did that happen? Well, that's technology. It goes beyond technology to allowing people to get what they want really quickly with the minimum of fuss, and actually let all the technology burden be on us, not on you. Get on with living your life.